Okay, today's Whiteboard Wednesday is inspired by a problem that we have here at Vermont, which is our understandability. So, do people in the market understand what we do? Do prospects understand what we do? Do customers understand what we do? And over the last year, my relationship with this question has evolved quite significantly. And I will say that there is no founder who loves to be in the zone of like low understandability. So this is low and this is high because it just feels like you're saying things and nobody understands you. So, however, I have come to appreciate that actually understandability and your company's growth are orthogonal axes. And there are particular things that are true depending on which quadrant you live in. So I'm going to start with the most obvious one, okay, which is it's very understandable and your business is growing. Okay, so what's a good example of that? Deal. Deal is a great example of that, right? Or a in D2C world, like a supplements business, right? So, what's a really popular sub AG1, right? It's like, great, I get it. I get that they're high growth. It makes sense to me. I like take this one thing instead of having to worry about all these other supplements. Um, and so it like people can understand it and the company grows very fast. Now, the trade on that is that it's highly competitive, right? And so like there's a ton of other supplement companies now, and there's a ton of other ways to hire people internationally now. And the speed with which those competitors emerged was very fast because it was really clear what the value prop is and how to do it. And so now, again, these are big companies, right? It's just that these are now competitive markets as well. Okay. Then there is high understandability and low growth. This is where, like, basically, this is like you still are ahead of the market, and so you can grow super fast. This is where like competition has crushed you, right? And so it's like quote unquote red ocean, or I think is the phrase. It's where everybody knows what it is, and it's impossible to grow because there's like 20 alternatives to what you're doing, right? So it's like clearly good idea, clearly understandable. Everybody knows you can't grow. Low understandability and low growth is you just picked the wrong thing. So this is like either it's you are doing something that is not useful to people, so it's like not useful or doesn't solve a problem, or what is happening is you just really do have a messaging, like a true messaging problem, right? Let's just say if people knew, then they would adopt. Like it's just really bad messaging problem. Um, so it's one of the two. And so something is like broke. So like this is like the zone where something is broken and you need to fix it. And now we come to the one that I, of course, have been spending the most time thinking about, which is you have low understandability, but you're growing very fast. And again, we're fortunate that we're growing very fast. And my new feeling about this, and the feeling that I have started to like appreciate more and more, is that because it's low understandability, what ends up happening is that you don't really have now the trade you make is it's really hard to get adoption. So it's like you're somehow getting adoption even though people don't understand what you're doing, which requires the product to be very, very good. The benefit of that is that you are you have a strategic advantage because by the time people figure out what you're doing, um, you have such a big head start that you are going to be the leader, right? And so these are like these a different way of saying this or is like what is the non-consensus right bet? I mean, there's like lots of different framings of this, but the one that we are interacting with directly is like understandability versus the growth of the business. And I've come to appreciate that there is actually some advantages to being here. Of course, if you can be here, then that's the best, right? Because then your marketing is easier, your adoption is easier, the way that you're championed at the company buys you is easier for them to explain to their to their boss, so on and so forth. But there are some advantages to being here, and I have this new framing has helped me think about what are the things and what is the right time to actually improve understandability, and what are the dimensions in which we actually want to strategically make sure that it is actually very hard for people to understand how and why those outcomes are being delivered while still delivering great outcomes for customers. I hope that that was helpful. All right, I'll see you in the next one.